Struggling to stay consistent with content, it's a phrase I hear all the time, but when I ask any follow up question, there's never a set answer to what consistency actually means. What it means for me and what it means for you are likely two completely different things. And knowing what your definition of consistency is holds the key to actually achieving it. So, in this video, we're breaking it down. I'm going to help you redefine what it means to have consistent content and the best 5 ways to increase your consistency. So grab a pen and let's dive in. Welcome back to Your Content Empire, the YouTube channel dedicated to helping you get more consistent and profitable with content the easy way. I'm your host, Haley Dale, a content and sales funnel strategist obsessed with bringing you all the latest and greatest in content and marketing. There is a big, gigantic misconception about consistency that I've seen through my work with thousands of business owners, which is that people tend to think that consistency is all about being disciplined. Just doing it, following it through, white knuckling it, showing up, rain or shine. And while that approach can definitely work for people, a teeny tiny number of people, that approach of white knuckle follow through isn't for the vast majority of business owners who have all other lives, other commitments, challenges, and struggles going on too. And the saddest thing is that when people think they failed or they're just no good at content because they lack the quote unquote discipline to consistently create it. Not the case. And in this video, I'm going to share 5 secrets to help you actually get consistent with content once and for all. So let's dig in. Consistent content secret number 1, design a content creation process that puts you first. The first consistent content secret is to design that content creation method for you that puts you at the center. While our content is about delivering value to our audiences, when it comes to the method that you choose for creating it, I encourage you to be selfish. One of the biggest secrets to consistent content is to put yourself at the center of your content input, aka how you create it, and your audience at the center of your content output, aka what you end up creating. Think about it this way. What if instead of relying on discipline to create your content consistently, you created a process that you enjoyed and looked forward to? That way, content creation wouldn't feel like a chore or something that you wanted to put off, but instead a treat that you get to indulge in. There are several ways to up the fun when it comes to content, but the how of it is a big part of the puzzle as well. Here's an example. I know that writing works for me, but speaking at random, off the cup, a la a podcast or a live does not. I know writing in free writing sprints works for me, but writing a great blog post in one sitting from start to finish does not. I know that stockpiling behind the scenes photos works for me, but stopping to share them in the moment on social media sucks the fun out of living life for me. I know that creating a piece of content every morning before starting the rest of my to do list fills me with joy and purpose. I know that skipping this makes me feel a little resentful. And I also know that I have complete permission to change my mind on any of these, what I knows, at any time, and so do you. So keep that in mind as you define your own rules for joyful, consistent content creation. Here's how to write your rules. Step number 1, journal your answers to these questions. Number 1, what works content wise for you? What type of content? What process for creating it? Step 2, next, pull out a piece of paper and write your main categories of content types, whether that's blogs, emails, social platforms, and then for each of these, write down what works for you. Step 3, turn these into a set of rules, your set of rules for content creation. And then step number 4, rework your process so you can follow these rules with ease. And if you don't know the answer to many of these questions, we'll talk about this shortly, but open yourself up to the possibility of experimenting until you find your secret consistent content creation sauce. Consistent content secret number 2, choose topics that you're curious about. I cannot stress this enough, but scratching your own curiosity itch with your content is key to getting into that lost in the moment flow that so many of us are chasing. Remember when you first started your business, you probably had a zillion things that you wanted to learn about. You probably thought about it all the time and you couldn't get enough of it. It's easy to lose that as we get a few years or a few months, we get busier and have more things pulling at our attention. So, getting back a little bit of that curiosity can help you start to enjoy content creation again, especially when it comes in the form of a juicy blog, a video, podcast, or social media topic that you're dying to talk about. So, what makes you curious? As a starting point, I would whip out a piece of paper and start brainstorming. Think about the questions that you have about your industry or area of expertise. Then think about the things that you'd still love to learn if you had the time. Side note, having to create a piece of content about something is a great excuse to learn something new and internalize that know-how by actually teaching it. After you have at least 10 things written down, make this a running list. As you come across new ideas and things you're curious about, add them to that list. I have a few more topic generation techniques up my sleeve, and I'll link to a video that walks you through 3 of these methods below in the description. Consistent content secret number 3, connect your content to real people. Related to topics is to find opportunities to connect your content to real people. In this case, the people that you've built your business around supporting through your offers. Especially if you're an online business, it is so easy to start feeling disconnected and isolated from your customers or clients. And increasingly, as your business grows and you're being pulled away to other aspects of the business, we want to bring the joy back to content. And in many cases, that can be solved by reconnecting and putting a face to the people you want to be helping with your content. Here's how. Number 1, start by sourcing questions from your audience or people who should be in your audience. What I mean by that is if you have an existing audience, send a survey, call for questions on social media. What are your biggest questions when it comes to insert your topic here? Or ask the next time you're on a chat with a client or customer. If you have a community, go through and see what questions are already being asked and capture them. If you don't have much of an audience yet, find some groups where people in your audience hang out and congregate, and then search for questions using keywords and jot those down. Number 2, then when you are creating content, pull one of those questions to answer. It'll feel like you're responding to a real person because you are, which will help your content feel less rhetorical and more connected to the people you want to be helping. Then, as a bonus, number 3, head back to that original link and pop in your response. This is such a double win because not only are you creating real life inspired content, but you're also getting the opportunity to start showcasing your expertise and generosity. Consistent content secret number 4, embrace content experiments. The great thing about finding what works in your business is that you found what works for you and you can ignore everything else. And with so much noise out there, focus is everything. However, the troublesome thing about finding what works is that it can prevent you from experimenting and finding something that works even better. I find that with my agency clients and students, it's about a 50-50 split. There are some who are eager to jump into trying new things, and those who really resist change. I happen to be in the change resistance camp. And so it's with a lot of intention that I get myself to experiment with my content and marketing. The best thing about embracing experiments with your content is that it can free you up to fail without feeling like you failed. After all, it was just an experiment and you were simply testing a hypothesis. Want to try a little experimentation this week? Brainstorm 5 things that you've seen others do with their content and marketing that made you think, ooh, that's cool. I'd like to try that someday. Then, for each of those 5 things, think about what the smallest possible, lowest commitment option of trying it out. Pick one of those things to take on a spin this week. Then, at the end of it, decide if you want to take it one step further by really trying the full version option of it. Consistent content secret number 4, outsource the content tasks you don't enjoy. There can be a lot of pressure to outsource before you're ready. So, this is not that. And it's all about figuring out what you like to do and what you'd rather not do, the things that are essential, though, so that when you are ready, you can dip your toes into the delegation waters. And once you have this list of likes and dislikes, it might come a lot sooner than you think. We help a lot of entrepreneurs with their monthly content. It's the bread and butter of our industry, of our agency. We work with visionary business owners who are the faces and voices of their brands to create high converting monthly content that grows their audiences and nurtures them towards becoming customers. But that full done for you solution is definitely not right for everyone, and especially not for beginners. But there's nothing to say that you can't start by hiring a VA to take care of some of the time consuming parts of your content process that you hate. Things that prevent you from getting your content out there because you don't want to do them. So, how do you start with outsourcing? Well, even before you're ready to officially easily outsource, whether it's as small as having a couple hours a month from a VA or as big as having a full blown content agency dream team like us, you can start taking the steps to get yourself ready. And here's what I usually recommend. Number one, make a list of all of the individual tasks that you do to get your content created and published. Number two, give a task a complete score of 1 to 10, how much you dislike it, how easy it would be to outsource with training, and also how long it usually takes you to complete. Number three, for each of those tasks that have a high outsourceability score and a high I don't like this score, document the steps in detail that you follow in order to complete it, either with a written checklist form or a walkthrough video, ideally both. Then, once you're ready to hire, you have everything you need to outsource with minimal training. Hopefully, you're feeling revved up when it comes to your content with these tips. And let me know in the comments which of these 5 content joy hacks you're going to try first. So, just to recap, they are: number one, design a content creation method that puts you at the center. Number two, choose topics that you are curious about. Number three, connect your content to real people. Number four, embrace content experiments. And number five, outsource the content tasks that you don't enjoy. So, let me know in the comments which secret you're going to try first, and make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know when the next video goes live, hint, it's Monday, ring the bell. And until next time, here's to your content empire.